Adi, could you tell the story of the time you almost got married?
Ah. Why do you want to make me revive all those things again? Are you out to tantalize me at the age of nearly 75? If so, please make it clear. Now I'll tell you the story. I was at the same time studying in Deccan College. That was the time when Baba was staying in the hut and I used to visit him every evening and every Sunday. My mother really became furious. There was a family of Iranis, a distant relative that lived, but very rich persons. They owned race horses. They trained race horses and owned race horses. A very rich family having many houses and all that. Somehow, I happened to stumble upon that house. Through the information somebody gave, that is immaterial. Then there was a girl, boy and a girl. I almost fell in love with her. But one thing was certain, that even before I came in contact with Baba, I had a certain ideal fixed for myself. That if I had really wanted to marry, my relationship with her would under no account be sexual until after marriage. That was there with me. I used to talk to her. She was also very much in love with me. And she used to come in her horse carriage, very rich people. In those days, cars were very scanty, very few. And she used to come all the way. She used to go to a school in Pune, a camp area. And from there, my college was nearly 4 or 5 miles away. And during the recess time, she had this tonga and a good horse. And she used to come and see me there. It went on developing like this. And when my mother came to know about this, she absolutely did not like it. She tried to induce me, I did not listen to her. She used to go to Upasni Maharaj in those days. She went and complained to Upasni Maharaj. Upasni Maharaj called me and in a very tactful way, do you want this girl? Do you not want this girl? This and that. And he started saying, I said, no, I definitely want it and I'm going to marry. Not now. But if I pass my examination, later on. I plainly told him like this. Then comes Baba into my life. So very wonderful thing happens. I could not really imagine. It's very difficult to snatch away a girl from a boy or a boy from a girl if he or she falls in love. But when Baba comes, at a time when Upasni Maharaj was called in our house, that was built, a new house by my father. And at that time, Meher Baba came. He was not known as Meher Baba, he was known only as Meherwan. And I had gone ill at that time. I had malarial fever. Upasni Maharaj gave me certain pills and all that. And Meher Baba used to come. I stayed in another house, not the house where Upasni Maharaj was there. At the back, we had several houses in Ahmednagar. We were all joint rich family. So in the other house, this Meherwan used to come so often to me, nearly 50 times a day. Then I thought to myself, my mother loves me so much, my father, my friends, my relatives, and especially now this new element that has come into my life, this girl, loves me so much and I love her so much. But what is this compared to this man's love? I really think that he is the ocean of love. And all these small loves are like small water ponds of love. And if they are all put together, it would hardly equal the ocean. So why should I go after this? Why should I go after the ocean? Probably that was the effect of his contact, Baba's contact. Otherwise it was, I felt it to be, today even I think over, I think that it was absolutely beyond me. But it did happen. And then I became very much reticent even to go and see the girl, imagine. In a short contact with Baba. She wrote letters to me, I did not reply. She wrote registered letters to me, I did not reply. And one of the registers was taken by my mother and given to Baba. So Baba, he also used to go in Pune from that hut to one of his disciples, Sadashiv Patel was his name. His house, 3-storied, 4-storied building. I used to go and stop there for a while. When he was there, my mother complained bitterly to Baba about me and this girl. So Baba said, now it should be completely now snapped off. So my mother was asked to bring this girl over to Sadashiv Patel's house. And Baba sat here. The girl was asked to sit here. I was asked to sit here. Gulmai, my mother, sat there. But I was asked not to face the girl, but to face the other direction and to show my back to the girl. And then Baba said to the girl in my presence, in my mother's presence, that it will not be of any use to you. This fellow is my servant. He doesn't belong to you. And you will not be very happy. And she started weeping and weeping and weeping and weeping. And then Baba set her right for a moment. My mother also explained to her, and then she went away home. And she was gradually reconciled to the situation, and then later on she married. This was the story.
Could you tell the story of how your mother would take money and furniture from your father and give it to Baba?
My father was a businessman. He always wanted me to marry and always wanted to join business, but I never listened to him. And when I was, after a certain period of having stayed with him, I was asked to go and live at home. My father was a dealer in many things. He was an army contractor. We had motor business, we had cinema business. He was dealing in furniture, renting furniture, selling furniture. He was an auctioneer. And all that. And all the house, my office, and all the entire rooms in my office were all filled with furniture that was to be rented. Now when Baba went and settled at Meherabad, so many things were needed there. So my mother used to ask me to get a truck. I brought the truck. I used to drive at the back of the house, and furniture after furniture was removed from there. Put in the truck and taken over to Meherabad and given away. Sometimes later my father comes and says, Gula, where is this? This sofa was there, this dressing table was there. It is missing. Where is it? So Gula says, you don't bother about it. We have got many tables and many sofas. Why should you worry if a sofa or a table goes from here? He was aware of it. He also loved Baba in his own way. But he was not prepared like my mother to give away everything. And then what happened later on? When Baba disbanded the entire arrangement at Meherabad, he broke the whole entire colony for a time. He did that 2 or 3 times. All the temporary structures were demolished. All the furniture had to be sold out. All the material had to be sold out. And this was the furniture. Whom should it be sold? It should be sold to my father. And how could it be sold? It should be sold by an auction. And my father was the auctioneer. So he is called, he goes there, he says, and he gives a bid, he buys, he pays the money, and he says, look here, this is my furniture, my wife has sent me, and I am buying it now again. And it made my mother and myself very happy. That he had to give away so much money for Baba's cause, and along with it so many samskaras also, through which he got the money. And that way she felt, and I also felt. When he came at night, at late, he was a very hard-working man, self-made man. He rose from a pauper. He used to hang his coat there. We did not have hangers, just he used to hang on a wall somewhere on a nail. And in his pocket there were 500 rupees. So Gulmai quietly takes out 300, leaves the balance of 200. In the morning my father comes. Naturally he tries to put on the coat and feels in his pocket. He says, Gula, what is this? Only I had 500 rupees and only 200 rupees. You go, you are going to earn much more money. Why do you bother about 300 and 500? But he did not object. He was very kind indeed. Because he knew, and he knew it was all going to Baba. He did not take any serious objection at all. That at least he allowed. That is it.
One more question before lunch. What happened when your father complained to Baba
about Baba spending so much money.
You see, Sarosh's father and my father were business in partners, 50-50. And a time came naturally that my elder brother married, Sarosh's elder brother married, I did not marry. So the whole thing had to be partitioned, 50-50. And we do not know if everything would have really gone very smoothly because of the different views, and one would say this belongs to me, another would say this one. So Baba in his presence got everything just separated. That was his grace, and it was his great help, because I was vowed to give my entire property to him, which was done later on. And Gulma also similarly. My sisters also similarly. But sisters' share was given, of course. They did not give all. Then as Baba once came in my office and he was sitting there, and my father knew that Baba was spending much money. There was no source for money to come in. It used to come and go away. So my father in a joke told Baba, Baba, you spend so much money. You waste money. Baba says, I don't waste, I invest. Who knows? What are your relationships between the two? Who knows, third man? You may have taken a loan of $10,000 in the last life, so it is to be paid back. You do not know, I know. That is it. For Jai Baba.
The following is the fourth talk given by Adi K. Irani at the Silence Day celebration on the evening of July 3rd at 8 p.m.
We Indians are known not to keep up to time, because we are always ahead of time or late. And of course you are having very beautiful, lovely programs indeed. But I got a great satisfaction when I had to come here half an hour late, because I thought to myself that the Western brothers also sometimes do not keep up their time, which the Indians always do. Once I was late in my talk in Ahmednagar by half an hour. So I told them, to justify myself, that Indians are so much infested with the sense of the eternity of time that they don't make any difference between half an hour or 1 hour. Now, today's talk is going to be a sort of a cocktail of things, because I would say something. There are questions still pending. They are asked. And I like the questions because we can cover so many subjects. And if I were to talk, perhaps 1 or 2 or 3 subjects would be covered. But if the questions are answered, they would really cover the variety of subjects. Now I shall just start with a little preamble. इशरत कतरा है दरिया में फना हो जाना, दर्द का हद से गुजरना है दवा हो जाना. इशरत कतरा है दरिया में फना हो जाना means it is the delight of the drop to go and merge itself into the ocean. That's the ocean of love, Meher Baba. I am a drop, he is the ocean. Suffering at its height becomes the remedy of the sufferer's plight. All of us are so conscious of suffering. All of us want to avoid suffering. And unfortunately, the path which leads to a happiness, unending happiness, is covered over with thorns and a great suffering. That's why the need of the master is there. We have to pass through the suffering. The world has to pass through a certain suffering. And Baba does not create a miracle. He does not change our destiny at all. But all he does is to take our suffering upon himself, to lighten our suffering for individual and for the whole world, so that our path may become easier. very easy. All the things, at least my experience has taught me, all things pertaining to spirituality and carrying out of Baba's instructions and orders are most difficult and most easy. If carried out through our sense of love, through our sense of loyalty to Him, service and obedience, they become very, very easy. Otherwise, they become most difficult. And wherever the difficulty arises, it really puts all our love, all our obedience to a test. That's why Baba has said, be attached to everything. Apparently attached to everything. This is my sermon, these are not Baba's words. Apparently attached to everything and substantially detached to everything. Or the more positive way is apparently attached to everything and substantially attached to Meher Baba. There are two ways. So if we get really substantially attached to Him, then the rest of all attachments fall out like leaves of a dead tree. They don't remain. We have not to exert them to throw them out. Just as I sometimes give an example, that supposing we have to cleanse our mind, it is like a bathroom. It is all covered over with filth and dirt of our actions, the commissions and omissions of our actions, their impressions and so forth. It is to be cleaned. Now there are two ways of cleaning it. We step into the bathroom, pick up particle after particle and throw away. I do not know, a lifetime may not be enough. It will be too long a process. And that is the process I call a negative process. It is not really practical at all. Instead of that, the most positive for a Baba lover, most positive way is to just lift up a bucket of Meher Baba's love and splash it in the bathroom and everything gets washed up. If it comes back again, take another bucket and splash it. If it comes back again, take another bucket and splash it. You go on doing like this, maybe in doing once, you may be able to cleanse everything. If you do not cleanse once, you will cleanse the second time, third time, or a more number of times. So this is very positive way of doing it. And that is why our attachment, substantial attachment is to Him is really needed. Now, I stop at that. This is a small preamble I wanted to present before you. And there is a question that has come up, the question of rituals. What is the difference between a ritual and a non-ritual? It is a very difficult question. It's a very delicate question. That question needs explanations from so many sides. And Baba has said many things. But he has left them to be worked out by his lovers. And they'll be worked out. It will take some time to be worked out. And a time will come that every discourse of Meher Baba, every thought expressed by him will take its own shape into a form like a Bible. And that will be created for the following of the entire world. Now for us, well, let us try to understand what is a ritual and what is not a ritual. Baba says that I have come to take away all the ceremonies. I do not want any ceremonies. And people ask questions. Performing an arti is ceremony. If you stand for a prayer, it can be ceremony. Anything can be ceremony, and anything cannot be a ceremony. To my view, the marginal line, the line of demarcation between ceremony and no ceremony is, objectively it may be anything. It may be arti, it may be the waving of lamp, it may be any prayer, recitation of any name of God or Baba. So long we do it with love, pouring our heart into it, it doesn't become a ceremony at all. It only becomes a ceremony. I have to go to attend my office. I am late in rising early morning, and I have to offer certain prayers. So I just go to Baba's picture, utter, mutter, some words, pass, mechanically, just for the matter of finishing up the job and go out. That becomes a ceremony. It should not be so. So the dividing line between ceremony and no ceremony is really difficult to understand and not difficult to understand both. So anything that you recite or perform or act upon or do, which you love in it, is not a ceremony. If it is mechanically done, with no interest in it for the time being, it becomes a ceremony.
Adi, what foresight can we use now to prevent such things as these annual gatherings, the dunis, and so on, from becoming rituals in the future?
Everything depends upon the individual as to how it makes use of it. A razor in the hand of a wise man or a sensible man is used for shaving, but a razor in the hand of a monkey, who can guarantee that? I do not know. Who can, sir, vouch for it, and who can guarantee what future is going to bring? I would put it this way: if future is going to make all this turn into ceremonies, then it will be the concern of Baba himself. And if it goes on like this for a few hundred years, and if things go on solidifying themselves into ceremonies, Baba will come back again after 700 years. It reminds me of it's a very good couplet. It's a very interesting thing and a very practical one. Andhere mein andhe ko bahut dur ki सूझी. There was a poet who was sitting there and he composed one line, and he was a very well-known poet. He could not compose another line at all. And he was all the time sitting there repeating the first line. I will explain to you. Andhere mein andhe ko bahut dur ki सूझी. A blind man, in his blindness, started thinking of very remote and distant things. He could not complete another line. And man was passing by his door, and he said, "Pet mein lagi bhook to tandoor ki सूझी." He said, when I am feeling so hungry, my stomach is empty, I want tandoor. Tandoor means a sort of a bread, an Arabic bread which is called tandoor. So, the problem will get solved, sir. It is all right for me to think and devise ways of means, but it all depends upon individuals as to how they make use of a good thing, turn it into bad, or just as a good workman may give good results with bad tools, and a bad workman may not be able to do with good tools. See, this is a practical thing. We have to take a practical view. And if we are not able to solve a problem, then leave it to MeherBaba alone and start doing the things that are of immediate concern. Do you have to say anything further, sir? Now you bring up your dhuni.
I am one of several people who are concerned that the practice of lighting the dhuni at events such as this retreat may become yet another dry, lifeless ceremony for those newer Baba lovers who are perhaps not fully aware of its meaning and significance. When they go home with the idea that the dhuni ceremony is one of those situations that should be practiced in small groups whenever the thought occurs to someone, and may eventually come to be understood as an obligatory act, this seems to be a danger to genuine surrender to the heart. It is so easy for one to believe one has surrendered simply by throwing a twig into a monthly fire. Ought we to carry on these practices which Baba...
Yes, I got the question. Now the thing is, throw the stick in the fire is only symbolic of what he has to do. It doesn't end at throwing the stick into the fire at all. It represents, it symbolizes a certain thing which a man himself has to observe, a certain weakness. Supposing a man is addicted to smoking, on a dhuni day he makes up his mind and go, and here is the stick I have thrown in the fire. That means my habit of smoking, I have burnt it today. That is all. Well, if the man doesn't do it, that is his responsibility. The fact remains that the act of throwing a stick into the fire symbolizes the act which should follow necessarily. It is not only the act of throwing the stick in it at all. It is to be followed by the man who has to do a certain thing. And one at a time, Baba has given the opportunity. Supposing I may have 10 weaknesses. So, I am not able to overcome them all. Every year I can just take a stick and symbolize it and give up. But if I do not give it up and only go and stand there near the dhuni and throw the stick in it, nothing is going to happen. Any other question?
Is keeping silence on July 10th part of obedience to Baba, or is it up to the individual?
Now, I must tell you this. During his lifetime, the 10th of July, of course, we always observed, and Baba wished it and wanted it. Certain persons who came there, that was Baba's responsibility. I do admit that as an alternative, he asked them to fast when they asked for it. But I'm sure Baba didn't want it. But he was the master, he is the Lord, he can do and undo things. He can say one thing and get another thing done by him. But after he left his body, he has not left instructions that on every 10th of July you must observe silence. But I shall ask you a question. What do we do for Meher Baba? We accept him as the Lord of the universe, as the avatar of the age. Just repeat these words, and there it is. And in 1 year once, can you not observe silence for 24? It gives us its remembrance all day long. It makes us possible to withdraw all our thoughts may go on, but because the activity is not there, and we are not able to express our thoughts, it gives us a rest and we feel yourself so much composed. And the whole day passes off in the thought of Meher Baba. Shall we not do this once a year? There may always be difficulties. Everybody has children, everybody has got house. But supposing an accident takes place and one has to go to the hospital, giving up his house and children, what does he do? He has to do it because nature makes him do. Baba is so loving that he never compels you to do anything. So shall I take advantage and not do it? I should do something for him. And I think really that once in every year, everyone must do it. And as an alternative fast, doesn't compensate the act of your silence at all. Further?
Adi, you said the poem read, "The blind man was thinking of things far away." What did the man going by say?
The man who passed by the door said that he was very hungry. And he said that I want immediate food. You are thinking of some things of such a distance. You being blind, you being ignorant, you do not know, and you think of so remote things when you do not pay attention to that. My stomach is empty, I am hungry, and I want food. Can you give me food? That is it. Not that we should not think of distance. We should. But if it is in our power to do so, we can accommodate in our planning to do so. But there are certain things. Meher Baba's things is the whole universe. He is the avatar of the age. We do not know where can we reach. We have every right to think indeed. But when we find, I have thought over this many a times. And I have argued over the subject many a times. And I have seen that there are certain things we have to just surrender to him. You have said it, Baba, you look after it. I will do my best. That is all.
Adi, Did Baba consider alcohol to be a drug? And if he did, does it have a different effect on us than psychedelic drugs? Does Baba consider psychedelic drugs and alcohol to be equally detrimental to one's progress on the path?
All right, let us talk about alcohol. Baba did not have any objection about alcohol because objectively alcohol is not bad. It is how we make use of alcohol that matters. Supposing there is a man, an ailing man, who needs one peg of Johnny Walker every day, the doctor advises him. Let him have it. But because of that, he goes on taking peg after peg. That is not allowed at all. Now, these psychedelic drugs are really harmful. Baba has said in that book, A God in Appeal, he said, these drugs are harmful physically, mentally and spiritually. So, under no circumstances they should be taken. At one place, Baba has mentioned, if an expert doctor who is well versed in these drugs, for a certain element, advises a certain quantity to be taken as a medicine, it could be taken. But it should not be indulged in at all. And they are very harmful. I do not know the details of the psychedelic drugs at all, but this is exactly what Baba meant to say, that they should not be at all indulged in, because they are harmful physically, mentally and spiritually. Alcohol can become as harmful. Why alcohol? Overeating can become more harmful than a man who takes a peg every day and another man who doesn't touch alcohol. He's a teetotaler, but he all the time overeats. He reaches harms to himself more than the man who takes one peg of this alcohol every day. So that is it. Alcohol is not bad. Food is not bad. But psychedelic is absolutely different. It should not be indulged in. It was very, very harmful. What was the other question?
Sometimes a person will renounce something and they will start to feel elated and think of themselves as a great renunciator. Could you relate some of your own experiences concerning this problem of inflated ego?
Yes. In our very early years, in order to draw the mandali to him, Baba put forth all sorts of baits, and to individuals differently. The bait that was utilized for me was not utilized for somebody else, or maybe it could have been. But according to the necessity, he did that. And he tickled the ego of the man, raised him sky high. I was one of them. When I thought I was the biggest man in the mandali, and the rest of the all mandali are below me, because Baba has loved me so much. When Meher Baba sits with me and gets breakfast for me in Manzil-e-Meem, 1922, before I go to the college, I have a regular breakfast in the morning, early morning, served by Gustaji. And before I go to the college, because I would not be present for lunch, he gives me another breakfast. Masaji, Baba's own uncle, he is asked to prepare special breakfast for me. It is placed there, and Baba with his own hand, morsel after morsel, puts into my mouth. How much tickled I feel that Baba loves me so much. Don't you think that I am the most important mandali member, and that I feel that I am so powerful? I feel that I am so high. But he is Meher Baba, one should know. He knows everything. And in time to come, well, I started feeling myself very great and very high, little realizing that it was the greatness that was given to me by Baba. It was not my own at all. But this realization came to me later, when Baba brought me down and almost crushed under his heels like this, and made me feel that my position was this, and that the height that I felt it was given to me by him. It did not belong to me at all. And I must come down and give my wholehearted service to him. And should not see that my ego, you see, gets so much raised up. So I say, fortunate were the persons whose ego was raised sky high. But more fortunate are the persons who were brought down to almost become the dust of his feet. And those, probably they were not destined for that, or Baba had other more important work, he had no time, that those persons who were raised high and were not brought down are just hanging there, dangling there all the time. They think that they are very great. So ego is such a thing that a man tries to curb it. Once a man tried to overcome his ego. He did to a certain extent. He underwent many self-effacing acts in his life. And then what happened? Tarke khudi se maile pindar ho gaye, azad hote hote giraftar ho gaye. He tried to go in for self-effacement. He succeeded. But then he got into another arrogance, another pride, that I am the man who have renounced my ego. So the very thing he wanted to do it, he did it to a certain extent, he succeeded. And on the other hand, he developed another ego, which was bigger than the first. So better he would have never tried it and had never gotten this a bigger ego for himself. So this ego business is at the bottom of everything. And the most mischievous thing, and the thing that really deceives us. And if you really ask me, it is not possible for any human attempt to get over it completely. It is only by the grace and the blessings of the Master that you can get over it. But you have to become deserving to receive that blessing. Now, one poet has so beautifully described as to what this ego is. The first line, as I said, the man tried to annihilate his ego, and he was confronted with arrogance, and he got that pride within him that I have controlled my ego. And instead of becoming free out of it, he got more and more captivated in it. Another way of explaining it is Tarke dunya, tarke ukba, tarke maula, tarke tark. Tark means give up. Dunya means the world, physical world. Tarke dunya, tarke ukba. Ukba means all the inner worlds. From 1 to 6th worlds. That is called ukba, all put together. One has to renounce the desire of the physical world, renounce the desire of having the happiness of all the inner worlds. Tarke dunya, tarke ukba, tarke maula. And we have to renounce the desire for God realization. And yet that is not enough. Finally, we have to renounce the sense of having renounced all this. So imagine, it is really beyond everyone. And that is why the easier path, the easier solution is placed before you by Baba. He says, you do not think about the ego or no ego at all. Do not bother about it. Just surrender to me. Obey me. Dedicate yourself to me. And I shall do everything for you. But that dedication has to be done wholeheartedly. The least amount of hypocrisy or dishonesty will not work there at all. It will poison the whole act of doing it, and it will not. He will not be successful at all. So one has to just give himself up to him. Means what? Everything I get, everything I have, it is his. Everything he gives me, he gives me. Whatever I suffer, it is his. Whatever happiness I experience, it is his. If I have plenty of money, it is his. If tomorrow I lose everything, it is his. If I have a beautiful wife today, it is his. Tomorrow if she goes away, it is his work, it is his doing. If I got a beautiful son today, I am very happy, he gives me. He takes it away, it is his, that's all. This is the detachment we should have. And this detachment can only be practiced by yourself, by substantially attaching yourself to him. So the rest of the attachments all fall through, and they do not have sway over you at all. Having read all the discourses, having read all the books of Meher Baba, we must come to a certain thing. How shall I be in my life? What shall I do? We should not get lost in that, in reading at all. First of all, we must try to find out where I am placed in the whole scheme of things. In the entire creation, where am I? And Baba has easily, he has given it in his God Speaks, where am I? Where does the human form come and all that? And why is that? All the explanations are given to him. And further on, what I have got to do when I have got the human form. And as I said, it's a complete dedication to him. And for the matter of that, I would really ask you to ask questions again, because whatever, according to my experience, I know, I'll be able to place before you certain things which may probably help you or which may not help you, but I'll be too happy if somebody has to ask anything about this.